Skelton family. I'm John J. Sullivan, and I have the distinct honor of being your Master of Ceremonies at the request of my dear friend, Lynn. I've been privileged to be a friend of Dennis and Lynn's and to have served on the Sarita Town Council with our lovely and talented and sensitive Mayor Lynn Skelton. The overwhelming love and support and caring from each of you during this past week has deeply touched the family. Vibrations of your love will carry out to Idaho and resonate to his daughter Heidi Hibbs and her husband Tim and his granddaughters Jenna and Haley Hibbs. And Dennis shared his recent investigation into the history and meaning of federalism. Yes, my friend Dennis was always curious and thirsty for knowledge.
Any topic which may have bored our wives to death, but our wives always jokingly refer to us as the brainiac. He was like a child at heart with an adult's brain. I could relate to that. Dennis was also frustrating and enduring at the same time. On a slope that dropped nearly straight down, and it was all of maybe 10 feet wide. We all looked at Dennis and said, "What have you gotten us into?" and we made it down to the bottom, and we all made it down to the bottom, and we went for a compulsory drink at the nearest lodge. And at that point, Dennis related to us, since I guess I'm not in charge of the maps tomorrow. I've been a general aviation pilot for 15 years and was helping Dennis with questions on flying rules and regulations, stories, and a shared love of building things with our hands. And I was fascinated with the stories he used to tell about how many hours and all the effort to have been. Expressed his feelings openly. He was a humble and decent man. I will truly miss him.
For the clock was an enthusiastic, visionary, dedicated volunteer at the town of Salita. In recognition of Dennis's commitment to make Salita a wonderful place to live. I have these.
Moving in 3 dimensions so rapidly is such a thrill. It was for Dennis as it is for all new pilots. At 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, or even 3,000 feet of altitude above the earth, things move in slow motion compared to driving down the freeway at 75 miles an hour. And yet, the airplane moves so fast. There is a feeling of freedom from the control of gravity. Dennis knew and felt all the same emotions that all pilots feel. All strive to continue that spirit of Dennis and Lynn in Sarita, in our valley, and in our region. I suggest we all remember Dennis that way.
The example that Dennis has set for us. He was what Martin Luther King called the servant leader. Dennis didn't need a special title or position. He lived by example. That daily to-dos do not crowd out time with beloved family like Shannon, Melina, and Rod. Continue on with God's grace. I'd like to close.
Things done on time. And he was a very good manager and a very useful employee. And I just love working with him. It turned out that I think Dennis led me in this. He was grateful. He was grateful for that job. Grateful to be able to be part of protecting the country. He was really a grateful person. And while with silent lifting mind I trod the high, untrespassed sanctitude space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. Adios, Kemosabe.
Dennis and I go way back. As Noel told you, we started out in the DLMF together. I was a program manager. And Dennis and I never saw eye to eye on anything. I often wondered if we'd get some of the junk in his garage mixed up in that plane. I didn't agree on one thing. He loved you. And we'll miss him.
Heard that he could be a vigorous disciplinarian.
career. But as far as I know, Dennis has no enemy. And I think that's a great way to live your life. So from our board, I would like to express our gratitude for Dennis, and to Lynn, I'd say thank you so much for sharing with us.
We have joined family members up at the Sherman Howe Mine in the Idaho mountains. And that's where Dennis's ashes will go, and we hope once again to be
Come to break the bread, we come to know our rising from the dead of the dead.